Kia ora, ladies and gentlemen. This is Leonard for the Ultimate Growth Experience podcast. Today, I have my good friend Shawn Narayan for the 9th episode. He is a current teaching assistant at the University of Auckland. He's a scholar. He's an aspiring entrepreneur, sales expert, self-improvement guru, and one of my great friends who has an excellent career ahead of him. Shawn, welcome, bro.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Hey, all good, man. So you are one of the most successful, hardworking friends I know at uni. So why and how do you work so hard, bro?
I think working hard is just, it's a learned skill, I didn't always work hard when I was younger, especially I think after year 11, I decided to just change everything. And I think it's a matter of perspective and realizing hey, you're responsible for everything that happens in your life. So if you have a shitty life, that's on you. But if you have a good, if you try your best and you end up having a shitty life, at least you tried your best, So I think hard work is always a base level for anything you want to do in life. If you're not willing to work hard, then that's it, it is what it is. So since year 11, I've been quite slow. I haven't been some people who you see that come on the scene and then they blow up. I'm not naturally intelligent. I can tell you that. I never do an IQ test, but if I did, it wouldn't come high. I had to really work hard to get to where I am. I'm a teaching assistant for statistics, and I failed level 1 statistics. Straight up failed it. So it goes to show, you just put your mind to something. And I didn't even want to do it in year 13. My mom forced me to. She was like, if you don't do it, don't come home. It was just that, if you're going to drop math, what's the point of you going to high school? Because I hated math, all my majors are mathematics now. So it's a lot of it's doing what you're uncomfortable with doing. I still struggle with it, it's hard. I suck at math, I still do, average now, but it's doing what makes you uncomfortable and then becoming comfortable, it's just doing those types of things. Yeah.
So discomfort and pushing the boundaries, essentially?
Yeah, but also listening. I always, one thing I always took pride on was I listened to people's advice. I didn't always take it in. If it was stupid advice, I didn't. But I always milk people's advice. I have family members who come and give me advice. A lot of people don't want to listen, but I always do. I can't explain why. I've always just been like that. Where I kind of photosynthesize or whatever information around me. I've always done that since I was younger. I think that's one of my talents. I can just sit there and just, listen and then learn very quickly. And now I'm very once I want to do something, I just do it. I don't think too much about stuff. So I always had advice. Most people don't listen to their parents, but my parents told me, do level 3 English, do a mathematics. If I didn't listen to that, I would not be here today. And my sister told me, don't do one major in university. It's not worth it. So I did 2. And then, that made me, it was hard, but then I was like, cool, I might as well do a second degree, just something called to me for it. So then I picked up statistics and I was like,
the conduit degree, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, why not just do 4 majors? So now, I do 4 majors, I'm almost done now, 2 papers left. So I have to say, no one builds themselves. And I'm still in the process, I'm not an expert in anything yet, but I'm still building and, I try to stay at that point where I listen to everyone's advice. I always tell people, don't just listen to successful people's advice. Listen to people grinding. But most of all, it's also important to listen to people who didn't make it. You got to figure out what they did wrong.
The mistakes.
Yeah. So it was that thing in me that was always listen and be willing to just learn. I had I had my uncle. He's the CEO of a large firm in Singapore. We're not close. I see him maybe twice a year for one day, and he took a liking to me after, he didn't see me for 2 years, and then he saw, I had my USANA business. He's like, damn, what? He was just shocked. He was like, you're like me, there's no one else like him in my family. He's like, you're like me. But then he also knew the downsides of being someone like that, there are downsides to it. And he's like, and then he tested me, he gave me advice, but then he just blasted me, in front of my whole family, embarrassed me. He wanted to see whether I was willing. Yeah, he was saying things to me, that people would, disown family for, he just did it to test me, he and then he later told me, I just want to see whether you have the balls for it, pretty much, this path you've chosen isn't easy, you know what I mean. And I was with him the other evening, and I told him it was good, he was giving me good advice. He wasn't blasting me anymore, he realized I could take it. He blatantly called me arrogant. He was like, you're arrogant, you're just like me, you're arrogant. I'm not arrogant, like, I'm not modest, like, I'm not humble, but I'm not arrogant, you know, like, I was just like, what the hell, like, but, you know, he was just telling me, he's like, he wanted to see how much, and he was, like, trying to buy one of my products, you know, like, he was like, tell me about your product, kept interrupting me, kept talking smack about it, kept talking about our company, kept talking smack about me, he's like, you ain't good at this, he just wanted to see where I was at, you know, like, and if I had just been a little bitch and just, you know, got upset, I wouldn't have got that amazing advice I got from him, you know.
Mm.
So, you know, he told me, he's like, the biggest problem in our generation is people aren't willing to listen. But one thing I've always known is, you know, like, your parents have gone there and done that. You know, whether they're successful or not, if they gave birth to you and then you've had all 3 meals and, you know, they've been paying even rent or they don't own a house, there's something to be learned there because, you know, like, that's amazing to me, you know, like, I think now, so how the hell am I going to do that? You know, even now, it's like, that's scary. So, I think the older I've been getting, the more I actually respect the people around me, like, that are older, even, like, my own age. I think the people are incredible, man. Yeah.
Totally that. Yeah, so you're saying observation, right? So
Yeah.
you look into other people, what they're doing well, but also what they're not doing well.
Yeah.
And taking those perceptions into yourself and then analyzing and then applying them.
Yeah,
right,
applying it is where like, honestly, I can tell you I wasn't smart when I failed level 1 Cambridge. I got like I full on failed that.
Real?
Yeah, I didn't even go to my science exam. Like, I was just at a point in my life I didn't give a fuck. And then year 11, I almost failed the maths, and I had to go through unit credits. I don't know if people know what that is. That's like you pretty much do 1 + 1, 2 + 2, and you get like 30 credits just to let you pass level 1 NC.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. And I failed a lot of my English. Level 2, I got mayor endorsements. Level 3, I did even better after that. So it was that click in those few years, and I know exactly what it was, but it was like, yeah, it was always looking around me like, hey, what's going on around me? Let's see, you know, like, I am very, like, I'm not intelligent in terms of IQ. EQ even, like, emotional intelligence is one side of it I'm good at, which is other people, like people, but within myself, there's still a lot of room for me to improve. IQ wise, I think I'm okay now. Like, honestly, like, not that I've gotten smart or anything, but I think I've learned how I learn, and that's all I needed to do. You know, like, you give me something, I'm confident, I'm good. You know, like, I can learn anything I want to. I can tell you, like, what grade I'll get in what paper. I'm at that point now. If I want to get a good grade, I know what I have to do to get a good grade. If I have 4 hours to study for a test, I know what I have to do to get an A+. I'm not an A+ student, but, like, if I care about the course, which is weird, like, that's the EQ part, you know, like, sometimes I give up on things, like, sometimes I just don't care, but, like,
mixed bag.
Yeah, for example, like, a geography 3-2 course, like, East Asian studies, I had 4 hours to study for the exam, test, because I just come back from the States 2 days before, and I had finished an assignment, so I had 4 hours, and I was like, what am I gonna, and I know I'm a kinesthetic learner, and I was like, alright, cool, let's just make cue cards, got A+. You know what I mean? The class wasn't recorded, so it's like, that confidence comes with trial and error, you know, like, I've gotten C's at university, I've got a lot of A's, I've got a lot of B's, it's okay, you know, I got very few C's, but those are my favorite papers, because it taught me, it's like, where did I go wrong? And for me, it was always giving up, or, like, being a softie, you know, like, being a little bitch, pretty much, that's what it is, being a little bitch, so, it never came, so, with IQ, I was fine, so I think now, at this point in my life, I'm obviously never going to be perfect, but at this point I'm very heavily focused on my inner world, how I speak to myself, because that's been very bad, you know, like, I got up to where I am by talking a lot of crap to myself, you know, you're not, you know.
Never say anything that's negative about yourself, that's one of the rules,
But that's how I got, like, that's how I pushed myself, you know, I go to bed every day, nothing was good enough for me, you know, like, you're not doing it, and that, to a certain extent, and then it drains you, it starts becoming like, when you own your own business especially, and then other people start coming at you, the last person you need is you coming at you. Before that point, I was fine coming at myself, you know, like, so then I have to learn to take it constructively, and so I'm very good with people though, even ever since I was young, like, I was good at, like, reading people, that's one of the things, like, I think you're one of the people too, like, people meet me, and then for some reason they tell me, like, they open up to me, and I'm very blessed for that, you know, I don't know what I do, it just happens, but I think I listen.
Charm.
It's not charm, I think I listen, I actually care about people.
Okay.
But yeah, and it's like, I can tell people's strengths and weaknesses very quickly. Have you heard of Strength Finder 2.0?
I've heard of that. Is that an application?
Yeah, no, it's like psychologists made it, the Gallup psychologists made it, and it's one of the most used, like, tests, and it tests what your, like, top 5 strengths. They can do, like, 32, but top 5 is where you go. And I think, like, 18 million people have used it. And like I said, I was at one of the USANA conferences, and one of the top speakers, Sam Cawthorn, he teaches TEDx speakers to talk and stuff, so he's not related with USANA, he just came and taught us how to speak and share stories and stuff like that. And he did it, and I was like, cool, let's just do it. So like, it's like, this is what I mean, I saw it,
and you just did it.
I looked up if it's legit or bullshit, use my skills to, you know, like, that's what uni teaches you, and analyze this and be like, okay, is this legit or BS? I thought it was legit. I mean, 18 million people did it. It's been the top 10 seller in top 10 Amazon or something, you know, Amazon books for the last 10 years, and it's been the only non-fiction book with that record. So I was like, damn, like that was, to me, I was like, okay, this has to be legit.
That has to be legit, yeah.
Yeah, so I bought it, and I got, my top skill was activator. So it means I just do things. Like, I'm a doer. Like, I don't hesitate. You know, that's my biggest strength, is like, I can just do things like that. Like, I think I do. You know, there's not much in between for me. But when there is, I really struggle. So when there is a lot of in between, like, oh, what if I did, then that's bad for me. Second one was communication. So it's like, I'm good at listening, but I'm also good at talking. And then the third one was like, strategic thinking. So it's like,
thinking,
and it's really, without trying to sound arrogant or cocky or whatever, in a really summed up way from what the book said, it's like a leadership style of thinking. Like,
describe you, essentially.
It really, like, you know what scared me? It picked up how I thought. And like, I can't explain, like, my partner got analytic, and she's like, yeah, that's how I think. And then she read she's like, you think like that? It was so different. It's a rare one, I think, I don't know. Because I think in pathways, I don't think linearly. I think in like, when I think of like maybe 20, 30 different alternatives, and then I just narrow down to one very quickly. So like, not many people think like that, but it got, and I was shocked. I was like, damn, like, reading it was me. I was like, this was creepy. Like, it knew how I thought. And that was like it's like a strategic leadership style thinking, because I'm able to, you know, make decisions pretty much. I don't get too caught up in details. And then I got individualization, so I'm good at like, I don't see people as groups, like, Asian, Black, this, that. I see
treat
people as
individuals.
Yeah. You know, I look at all your aspects. You're Asian, okay, so you'll have certain traits. You're this, that, and I make you an individual in my own head. So I like map people out like that. So strengths, weaknesses. So if I know I need someone who's mentally strong for something, I'll probably call you. You have very strong mental strength, in my opinion.
Cheers, mate.
I feel like you don't care what anyone thinks, and that's so valuable, you know. And then my last one was doer, so I'm good at meeting new people. So you picked up that I'm good at people. You see that? That's crazy, right? I picked it up. I really recommend anyone who listens to this to do that, because
I'll leave it in the description, definitely.
Yeah. It costs money. I don't make money from it. Yeah. So
you're just doing it. You're just telling them because it's
I
really,
thought it was
really
cool.
good.
You know, like, I think it costs like $25-$30.
That's not bad. Yeah.
I got all my friends to. I got my partner doing it, and it helps. It helps because once you know what you're good at, you don't stop giving a fuck so much about what you're bad at, and you focus on what you're good at, and you hammer in on those skills.
The strengths, complete on the strengths. Yeah.
There's no point wasting your time on what you're not good at. You know, if you're not good at it, you're not good at it. You work on your weaknesses from your strengths. You know what I mean? Like, for example, when I was younger, I struggled with being a good listener. So I really worked on that. But that's the thing. Being a listener, some people think it's just silence. It's not. It's actually talking, looking, responding. A lot of people think they listen, but they're not listening to what you're saying, and they're like wandering around. No, you're a poor listener. You know, just because you're quiet, it doesn't mean you're listening. So I was like, okay, I'm not a good listener. Everyone told me that my whole life. Cool. So now I've really practiced to be a good active listener. Like, and you said, like, I want to say I'm an expert at sales, but I like sales, and I'm getting better and better at it every day type thing. And
when you look at the potential, that's the point.
That's like the 80% of it listening. Sales, like, a lot of this is where like most useless salespeople get wrong. They think it's about them. No, selling is about the other person.
The client, the customer.
Yeah, and that's where a good salesman comes through, is because they're good in heart, in my opinion. Like, a good salesman usually cares. You know, like, you ain't gonna, like, people smell bullshit from a mile away. Especially our generation, they smell bullshit from a mile away. So yeah. I'm always very self-critical as well. So, like, yes, I work hard. So it's like all that, I'm trying to share, like, the wide thinking of where I'm at, where I've always been, you know. When I was younger, like, everything, like, after, when I was younger, it was always sports. Thank you to my mom and dad, because, you know, I was a little shit when I was younger. I was hard to control. I was impatient. I was rude, because I got bullied a lot. So and like, I come from an island Asian household, so those households are like, You know, I don't
Totally,
need to go
mate.
to
Yeah.
It's like, you know, your parents know what they know. I came from Fiji, you know, like you do something wrong, you know, it's not like nowadays. And I honestly, in my opinion, I'm grateful for the upbringing I had, and I wish my kids could have it, but they can't. You know, like I couldn't replicate what my parents did for me. So, like, sports was huge for them. Like, my mom and dad didn't get to go to uni and stuff. They did like diplomas, like 1 year, 6-month diplomas, stuff like that. So, I mean, I think they knew they weren't gonna, like, they taught me maths and English. They taught me what they could. You know, they weren't learning stuff like history and geography to teach me, but they taught me what they could. But in my opinion, they were very focused on sports. And like my dad, my dad was cool, man. He was like a soccer player. Like, he was like in the Fiji team and stuff. Like, he was, you know, like, I'm short, but dad was quite big and so he could play soccer. Like, and my mom's always been like getting good jobs. Like, she's been cool like that, you know, like she's been working for good companies from a very young age. And you know, my mom and dad both came from like disadvantaged backgrounds. Like, they had a lot going on in their family, too much to talk about, but so they focused in on sports with me. So I played maybe like I started soccer very young, like 7, 8, and then I went on to like high school.
Did you still play at high school?
Yeah, I played till year 9. I did year 10, I just didn't play. I like enrolled. I had gone through a dumb phase.
Yeah.
So, but my dad was always my coach. And like, you think that's cool, but nah, my dad was like, oh, this is the reason you are the reason. You know, he'd be like, you're the reason this won't happen. Or if I scored a goal, he's like, you could have done it faster. You know, like, he always pushed me, you know, like, and I appreciate that. And when I was younger, it didn't bother me that much, surprisingly, but now that I look back at it, I'm like, damn, yeah. And my mom used to take me swimming, so like, people always comment like, I'm short, but I'm quite wide. That's my mom.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I mean, you can't see him, but he's quite buff, and his shoulders are quite wide when you look at him. So like,
that's all my mom, you know, like, my mom used to take me swimming 3 times a week, and I had to swim 1 kilometer. She didn't care if I had to do homework. She didn't care if I had a headache, if I felt sick. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you're swimming, Shawn. That, you know, like, if I missed one of those days, you're going on the weekend. You know, like, if she sat there, you know, my mom had shit to do. She'd work on her phone, cool, but she sat there. And if I did something wrong, you know, everyone heard that. I just started, what are you doing? Stop it. You're like, I hated it back then, but I'm so glad I did. Not just for the body, but for the discipline I grew. Because I think that helped I wasn't a disciplined kid. I don't think I have extraordinary discipline right now, I'll be honest with you. But if they didn't do that, I'd be a bum, probably. So, like, Grit, it's a book by Angela Duckworth, I think her name is. And it talks about extracurricular activities like that being the key thing in successful people, is that because it builds discipline. So my parents did that. You know, my grandma taught me maths, my mom taught me maths, dad taught me maths and stuff. But it's not... the advantage for me at that point wasn't that. It was them teaching me discipline, teaching me to stick to something. A lot of people our age now, they can't finish things. I know this sounds mean to say.
No, you're right.
They don't like to finish
instantaneous, everything.
They want things today, and then they don't want to finish things, and like, they think I'm weird. It's like, no, it's a patience game, man. Like, our life expectancy is like 80 now, you know, you need chill, like, you know, like...
Might even be higher, like 100 maybe soon.
Yeah. Like, yes, you could die tomorrow, but it's like, you probably won't. If you do, you know, live your... Like, to me, I work crazy hours. Like, I don't go clubbing. But I'm happy, man. Like, if I died tomorrow, I have a good relationship with my family. I have a good relationship with my partner. I have good friends like you and, like, all my other friends. I'm running a business, you know. It doesn't matter if it's, like... I'm not going to say how much I earn ever, but it doesn't matter if I'm making 0 or I'm making $1 billion. All that matters is I'm in the grind. I'm learning, because I'm only 22. I'm learning, I'm working. I've got to where I wanted to in my goals for academia. I can go on and do postgraduates if I want. You know, like, all those things, like, I'd be happy to do that. I don't need to be a millionaire. Like, you know, like, those types of things. It's like, for me, the progress, man, that's what I truly, like, love, is that everyday grind. You know, I've been like that since I was a kid, you know. Like,
such Gary Vee style, mate.
Yeah, like, it's just been my parents. So, like, I have to give so much credit to them. It's like, I was such a hard kid to deal with, like, because I got bullied so much. I was aggressive, like, towards everyone. I didn't have friends in, like, primary and stuff. Like, even into intermediate. I used to get, like, rotten Fijo was thrown at me because I was black.
Shit.
Yeah. And, like, I couldn't really speak English, so mom had to come to school with me for the first, like, 2 months.
Yeah.
I came from like disadvantage.
Yeah.
You know, like, and like I got bullied heavily until like year 8, 7, maybe.
So that was the low point, like real.
That wasn't even my low point.
Oh,
that
goodness.
was just growing up for me. You know, like I tell people, I was suicidal. Like I had really dark thoughts as a kid. And now I'm so happy that I went through that phase and got through it, because it means I can see life for what it is.
Because you're better. You're better than here you know now.
Yeah, and there's not much that can go through, you know, like, there's not, like, little me went through a lot more than, like, a lot of other little kids had to go through, because, you know, I was always small, so small people get picked on by bigger people, like, especially in schools and stuff, you know. Like, I used to be the kid that got into detention, so I didn't have to go. So I didn't have to go and play with other kids, because I used to get, like, bullied. Yeah, I was so scared. So, like, and my teachers figured it out, so they stopped giving me detention and just say, you know, just stay in, and they'd talk to me, you know. They knew what was going on, but they couldn't do anything, you know, like, kids gonna be kids, so that's something that, yeah. I mean, so, like, my sister was really good in that as well. Like, she told me, like, how to overcome that, so always listen to those around you. That's huge.
So speaking of your year 11 time, so what was the point? Like, what made you make that transition from that undisciplined, messy and that sort of child to that incremental progress where you got married and then you got excellence in Form 6?
I didn't get excellence.
Okay.
There's a reason for that. My grandma got cancer.
Oh, right.
And my grandma raised me, so, like, again, my parents... because we were from Fiji, so they both had to work. So after about 3 months, I was given to my auntie to be raised. So
yeah.
I'd be with my auntie the whole day. My mom and dad come pick me up at night. I'd sleep at home. And my grandma would look after me. So a lot of people, but grandma, especially when I came to New Zealand, me and my grandma were together all the time.
Yeah.
You know, like when I was getting, swearing at teachers, getting in fights, my grandma would hide it from my parents and stuff. You know, like because she wanted to look out. She knew what was going on. So I was very like me and my grandma were like best friends. You know, like I used to like. A lot of kids aren't that close to grandma. I feel like I used to actually talk to my grandma. We'd conversate. Like I loved my grandma. She's the only person I never got angry at. Like, she like when my parents were vegetarian, she'd sneak me like sausages and stuff. But so when she got cancer, that really messed me up. Like, it really I didn't know what cancer was. It really upset me. And then and then she told me, she said like there was a lot of other stuff going on. I don't want to get into it, but it was like she told me she's like don't let me see you die being the man you're not, like that I know you can
so
be.
that
I
potential
raised you. She's like I raised you to be something and you're being something you're not, like don't let me die. And that was like a serious thing. She could die tomorrow, like especially at the face. She told me that. So that was in year 12, and that I got my merit endorsements, and then around year 13 she actually passed away just before my exams. So I could have probably got excellence. No, I don't think I could have got excellent endorsement, because that throughout year 13 I had 2 study breaks back to back.
Yeah.
And cause my teachers knew me and stuff. They knew I was a hard worker. I just told them like, hey, can I go see my grandma in those 2 hours? Because she was very close to the school, her hospice.
Yeah.
So I just walked, and I was with her almost every day. That was it. And then when she passed away, I just told them something clicked. I was just like, look, no one's gonna care that your grandma died when you're applying for universities. You're gonna get into Auckland Uni. Let's go. That was it. It was that simple, like, at her funeral, like, I just made that decision. I was like, it's that simple. Like, I think I just sent my exam a month later, and I got merit endorsement and then 3 subject merit endorsements as well. In stats, chemistry, I think. Geography, stats, geography, and economics. Sorry, not chemistry. Yeah. So I do all those 3 now. So I do finance. So I'm tech. So it was like, that was my low point in my life, where I was like, damn, like. It was just my grandma, like, that was the greatest gift. She ain't even here, but she ain't here anymore. And I didn't like really tell people that she even died. That's how much it hit me, I just put my head down. But she didn't even tell me that, but it was just kind of like, okay, that was my big wake up call. It's like, life is short. Like that could happen to your parents one day. You gotta be, they did all this for you. You have to be willing to do something for them, man. Your life starts yesterday, like life started yesterday. You gotta pick shit up. So, straight after that, I did all that. My parents were happy, and then Mum took me to Queenstown as a reward for like a week, or like a couple days, sorry. And then came back, got my license, my learners, because I wasn't allowed to, because she was sick. So my parents like, don't get your learners yet. Take it easy. Like we don't have time. So then I could get it. Then I got a job. Funny enough.
Kathmandu?
No. My first job was swim instructing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But how I got my first job was I went door to door to like maybe 100 places with my CV, and I dressed up in my oversized shirt and my like fucking cheap, like, and my shoes weren't cheap. My shoes were nice because my mom bought them. My shoes and just cheap jeans, and I don't know. And I was getting rejected. Like I got rejected all 100 times, and then I saw something come up online, and I was like, oh, I should just do this. And it was like a 40-minute bus ride away from uni. Oh no, an hour and a half from uni, and like, or like hour something, and like 40 minutes from my house. So I went there, and they're like, what experience do you have? And I was like, oh, I swam for 5 years. They're like, alright, how are you gonna get here? And I was like, our bus. He's like, it's a big bus. Are you willing to do it for the? We're not paying you much. And I was like, yeah, because to me the first job wasn't about money. It's never been about. I don't
Experiences,
really,
right?
Yeah, it wasn't really about money. I never really cared about money. And then I got the job, and then I had to do like 40 hours of shadowing or something. Still, I can't remember. That was unpaid, so I had to do that during my holiday, and I did it. I missed that job. I missed the people at that job as well, and I had to leave to health issues. I have asthma, and just the crawling, I can't say that word, crawling or whatever, got to me, and
The chlorine, yeah.
Chlorine, yeah. It got to me, and I had to leave. But that job, I was earning $40 a week, and busing, yeah. So I'd bus there after like my accounting 101 class, and that'd be like an hour. And I'd have to get food. So I was just paying for me to get there and back. Yeah, so, but I was so proud of my first $40 check. I like ran around the house. I was like, damn, I earned my first check. So, yeah, Kathmandu came after I left that job. My best friend Chris, I don't know if you'll listen to this. Me and him went to I still like did the door. I went to a bank and I was like, hey, I want a job here. And they're like, you can't have, like, I talked to someone I knew. He's like, you need sales experience. I was like, what sales and what sales experience? He's like selling, he's like, describe to me. I knew what sales is, but he's like, I was like, what do you mean by sales experience? He's like, go work in retail. I was like, I can't get sales experience. He's like, go work retail. And I was like, cool. And then my sister worked at Kathmandu, so I was like, this was like a long time ago though, so no one knew her anymore. But I was like, cool, I'll work at Kathmandu. And my best friend was there, and I was like, hey, bro, give me a job. And then like we nagged the manager for maybe 3 months, like so much. And then he gave in around Christmas, and he was, all right, I'll give you a job. But then, I worked my ass off, so it was worth it.
So you just persisted and persisted.
Yeah, I just kept going with my CV.
I've never seen anything, I've never heard anything like that.
Yeah, he got tired of, he knew who I was. He's just like, but by the time he saw me, it was just like, all right, can you take Banter? And I was like, yeah. He's like, I already know you're persistent. So he just gave me the job, and like, they put me in shoes for 6 months, like a little corner in Kathmandu, and I made the most of it. I was selling like 20 pairs a day. They're like $150. I was going hard.
So speaking of that, did you read like books from Grant Cardone or Brian Tracy to sort of get that sales thing coming? Because we all know that knowledge plus experience is required to really make that skill your own. So like, what did you do to really maximize that sale with Kathmandu?
Honestly, at first, books are important, right? Like I was the one who told you like reading's so important.
Yes.
Blah blah blah. I've been reading for a long time, but at that time I didn't know about books. Some people learn different ways. I think my main learning is through others. So like my best friend Chris, he was good at sales. He was very good at sales. Like, and I figured out very early on sales was because Chris is like, he's a Mormon. Yeah. He's very kind and caring, and that he ain't sleazy like sales. Like I feel like when people hear sales, they think of some sleazy car salesman. No, Chris, when I saw him, he was caring for his customers. He'd go above and beyond, and I just emulated that. I saw the people that were crap in my store, and I saw the people that were good. It wasn't just him. They all listened and gave, and it was all about needs, and like, yeah. And I watched maybe a couple YouTube videos, and then I started going from there. But yeah, when I started reading like those types of books, that's when I started making maybe 10, 15, sometimes even 20% of the daily of the store. So it bumped up like that, yeah. And I actually like had a piece of paper, and I was weird, Like my manager was like, why do you have this piece of paper and you keep writing numbers down? I was like, oh, like this is the sales I've done.
Oh crap!
Yeah, because it was just like I like measuring things, and like I have rules, like I never oversell to people. Never. I never give someone something they don't need. I'm never pushy, and it's always about the other person to me. That's what sales is to me. Because there's bad police officers, bad doctors, bad nurses. You know what I mean?
Totally that, man. So speaking of books, is there any particular ones that you recommend to the listeners who are trying to get into or be even starting this journey of self-improvement? Or...
So like I said, guys, books is huge. How I learned, you go right now and look up how to become successful. Every video you watch will tell you read. Why is books important? I feel like people don't get why. They think, oh, look, the hard facts about a book is that someone has spent 20 to 30 years learning something, and then they've put it into a piece of paper, and you're able to absorb 20 to 30 years of experience through that book. You ain't gonna get all of it, but you're gonna get something out of it. So books, like, especially in my culture and what my grandma told me, I wasn't even allowed to put books on the floor. Like, if I ever put my foot on the book, I had to like do a ritual to like unthing the book. It's just like you put it to your head and heart and just say I'm sorry. Books are like huge. Like, people put their lives and things into books. So that's how you learn. Like, a university, for anyone who's not at uni, you're learning from a textbook, not from your lecturer, right? So books, you ain't gonna, honestly, I don't know any successful people who don't read. CEOs read maybe 60 books a year.
Warren Buffett reads like one a week, I think.
Yeah, Warren Buffett, yeah, like, he's the richest man in the world. He reads 500 pages a day, actually.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, what I recommend, the book that got me going was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Stephen Covey, yeah.
Yeah, so I went to my doctor, he was successful. Like, this is all I've done. I'm not special. I just went to him and I was like, hey, I asked him about his life. Like, most people don't ask the doctors. He's like, oh, I got a full scholarship for mine. So he's a very smart man, my doctor, right? And I was like, cool. And I was like, hey, I want to become, I want to become an entrepreneur. Because I was starting my app that failed. It's okay to fail businesses, but that was one of the coolest things I did, was fail a business. And he told me read. And I was like, cool. I was like, okay, I'll go get books. Came back to him. I was like, I can't get any books. They're all gone. He's like, he just gave me all his books. He's like, here, you got a week. Go read some books. You know what I mean? Like, people will help you guys if you are humble and listen to their story and you want help. Like, most people, like, especially successful people, like, one thing I'll tell you that I've learned in the last 2 years is successful people, they ain't haters. It's usually like losers. I'm just being straight up. It's the losers.
We're not PC, man. Just go ahead.
It's the losers. It's the bums that hate, say stupid things, that put people down. Successful people are only out there to put people up. So he gave me those books, and one of them was 7 Habits, and I read it, and it changed my life. Like, my grades shot up, my relationship with my partner got better, everything, and that's when I started my USANA business after reading the book. Because then I read, after reading that book, I read Robert Kiyosaki's book.
Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
I accidentally read the investment one first, because like I said, I'm not that smart, so I thought it was Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but it was his guide to investments. So... And like, yeah, so that was a freaking awesome book though. It was talking about like assets and how, like, yeah, I did finance, but the way he does it is very cool, unique. So it was like, you need cash flows. So I was like, cool, what's better than a network marketing business for cash flows? Like, you make residual income. It ain't easy. Like, this is the thing with network marketing businesses. People join it and they think it's not it's a business, right? Yeah, the advantage of a network marketing business, you don't have to do inventory. You don't have to do like anything in terms of product making. Legal side is covered. You have an 0800 number they can call. You have a company to back you. You have a brand established. Everything's there, but you have to do the work, right? And that's like, you listen to anyone, product is 20%, execution is 80%. So just because you join a network marketing business and you do nothing, you're not going to make money. And I've never seen someone who's truly worked their ass off and not made money. Like, I'm doing good. I'm happy with what I do in USANA. But yeah, that's the thing with network marketing. So yeah, that led me to my USANA business, which has now led me to go overseas. Like, Mel Robbins?
Yes.
She was at the
5-second rule.
She was at the USANA conference. Really? I saw her live.
The 5-second rule lady.
Yeah.
Wow.
I saw her live. You see, like, where that, like, you just don't realize where things can lead you. But reading led me there. So. Like, Rich Dad Poor Dad is just, I haven't read it, but it's just one of those books that everyone has to read. I think I've got enough from that book I read. I read Cash Flow Quadrant. That's huge. Bro, I think what's better than Rich Dad Poor Dad is Cash Flow Quadrant.
Cash Flow Quadrant.
Have you read it?
Nah.
It teaches you the difference between business, self-employment, being an employee, and being an investor. And that will widely open your mind. Like, it's huge. I read so many books now. I think...
I'll leave all of them in the description, by the way, as well. Yeah.
There's a lot of good books. Like, I'm the type, like, I don't want to tell people what to read because I feel like you read a couple and then you kind of know which direction to go.
Yes, so it's all about the individuals.
Because you read 7 Habits, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's the one I recommended you.
Yeah, and then I went to the other. Then I went to How to Win Friends. Then I went to
How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Yeah.
Like that book is key, man. Like that book is gold. So like Warren Buffett said, he went to Dale Carnegie's course. Have you heard about this?
Yes, I did hear about that.
He puts that diploma up, and it was like a 2-week course. I don't know. Don't quote me on the times of that. But he thinks it's more important than his degree. So like, guys, don't underestimate self-help books. I think people make them jokes. Tony Robbins is a god as well. Like, I used to think he was a joke, even like until this year.
He's like a meme on the internet.
Yeah, he's a meme. That's why.
But he's legit too. Yeah.
I'm going to his what do you call it? Live show in Sydney. Yeah.
Oh wow, good job, man.
Yeah, because I don't know. I just talked to some people and they're like, they're millionaires and they're like, oh yeah, Tony Robbins helped me get my first breakthrough, and I was like, damn, I gotta go Tony Robbins. You know, like, it's just you emulate what other people. That's what network marketing is all about, actually. Like, and another huge plus in network marketing is there's a lot of millionaires in it. You know, like a lot of people do make people underestimate it. Like, yes, there's a big fail rate, but you look at traditional business, 9 out of 10 businesses fail in the first 5 years. And if they and it's less than that in 10 years, and just because they're alive doesn't mean they're making money. Business is hard. Straight up, business is hard. Network marketing just has very little cost involved with it. You know what I mean? It's very low cost, but it's a lot of work. I think the hardest part about it, because I'm so honest, you know, it's just, because it's like you don't become a doctor overnight.
No, it takes time. Incremental progress.
You don't become a good student overnight.
That's right, yeah.
So like, when people join network marketing, they don't realize, like, hey, there's a set of skills you got to learn. So that takes a little bit of time. And then, you know, there's obviously haters around there. But I feel like if you're not getting hated on, you're not doing something with your life. Like, you're wasting your life at that point.
Totally. So, what are your habits and micro habits like that? What do you do day to day, week to week?
I'll be honest with you, man. Like, right now, I'm burnt. I was quite burnt out after my exams. Like, I haven't had a break for maybe since uni started. Yeah, I've been going hard since uni started. I've been doing this is my first semester, like, summer school summer school. I don't have summer school for the first time, and I had some, like, personal issues, even when I had the mid-semester breaks, and I've been traveling for 2 of those years, and it caught up to me. It really did catch up to me, like, my brain kind of fried itself. But, like, when I say I'm taking a day off, I still have, like, a stats client that I'm helping, and, you know, she's a PhD student, so I have to do her research. I'm still maintaining my business. I didn't choose to take any part-time job, just don't have the energy for that anymore. Like,
because you're doing USANA already.
Yeah, it's like, even if I was earning $0 from USANA, I don't think I'd go back. Because I've done 3 years of it, and I feel like I'm at the point now that I have to be uncomfortable, and I have to go and do what I got to do. You know, like $400, $300, $40. It ain't that number. It's about developing yourself. So it's about being uncomfortable again, which is where I'm at now. So it's like, if you always have that barrier, you know, you ain't gonna put your heart and soul into what you care about, because you always got that safety lock engaged. So I'm just being upfront. Right now I'm a bit lazy, but around my, like, uni time, like when I'm at peak, so like just before my exams, I had 40 hours marking. I had a 60% assignment, 2 other assignments. I was doing 10-15 hours of USANA. That was full on. And then, you know, I went straight into exams after this. So what I do in those time periods is, like, I usually wake up. Like, honestly, I'd say wake up at 5, but I don't have, like, that's hard for me. Like,
I don't even wake up at 5. I wake up at 7, 8.
I'm trying to get to that point. It's freaking hard.
Because a lot of successful people do that. Because
they say that if you can, like, wake up early, that's where you start. That's where discipline is built.
Right. And productivity is highest in the morning.
Yeah. So I did that, though. I can do that for, like, 2-3 weeks. So I was waking up 6-5, and then I wake up, when I'm at my peak, I'll tell you my peak, so let's be upfront. It's not like I do this all the time. This is my peak period. I wake up like 6-5 around that time. I suit up, so I wear my nice clothes, because, you know, you got to make yourself feel like what you want to be and what you are. And then I usually either get some work done, my uni work, depending on I get my USANA work done. So USANA is usually talking to clients, I'm getting new clients, or I'm learning or something like that. Like, and another thing, guys, like, don't be afraid. Like, one thing you learn at uni is you don't need to go to uni to learn, right? Like, you have to agree with that, right?
I agree with that, yeah.
Yeah, you learn more outside of uni. So, like, all my health knowledge, so I probably know about this stuff more than I do than any of my 4 majors. I'll be real with you. Like, I've been learning about this stuff for years, even before I started USANA. So I get dressed up and I eat breakfast. I always eat breakfast, like, unless I'm intermittent fasting. That's really cool as well. So I eat my breakfast. I, like, used to meditate, but and I really recommend it to everyone. It's just I struggle with it. Like meditation is like you stopped as well.
Nah, I'm still
going.
Yeah, I'm still going.
Damn, that's good, man. I was
40 days.
I think I meditate like I like to meditate. Like I do meditate, but I think I'm a very ADD person. So sometimes I just like to. Sometimes I meditate though. Sometimes I just a couple 20 minutes just doing nothing. Like sometimes that's me. So yeah, and then I'll go. I'll start meeting clients throughout the day. So it's usually structured around like how many clients I have to meet throughout the day. So if or prospects. So if I'm meeting new people, it's like, okay, and my classes, so I'll structure around there, and then the gaps in between, I spend with my partner. Like success, my success metric isn't money. Honestly, it's like how good I can treat my family, my partner. Then it's like how good I'm doing in my USANA business, how consistent I am, how many people I to those types of things. And then also, like how my career is developing, because I'm doing both. Like this is the wonder of where we live, guys. Like everyone thinks it's you're entrepreneur or you're employee. No, you can do both right now.
Can be anything. Yeah.
We're 20s, right? I'm sure your listeners are in your 20s.
Most of them are. Yeah. And
it's like, guys, do a part-time something because you have the energy. Like right now we have time, and we can say we have experience right now, but we don't have money. That's a fact, right? No one has money right now. No good money. Like very few people our age do.
But we're young.
Well, so like my friend always puts it this way: this is the only time in life where we have nothing to hold back for. We can just eat cup ramens and live the hustle, So I'll go and work like that, and I'll probably work maybe 10, 12 hours. I think a slow day for me is like, right now I'm like enjoying my residual income, so I'm working 3-4 hours, but the business isn't growing. But when I'm growing, I'm working 12. Yeah. And then I go to meetings, USANA meetings quite often, maybe 2 times a week, once a week, and I learn a lot. So then I come back and I wind down. Usually winding down for me is just watching something. I've been a big, it was my escape when I was younger. And I've really cut it down. I was addicted to TV shows. I used to watch 1 anime for every day it released. So I had 7 animes minimum. And then I watched maybe 6 shows.
Wow, so that's a lot of waste of time.
Yeah, when I was younger, yeah. I did that even in year 12 though. So this is what I mean. You have a lot of time, and I was not smart. So I was watching all those shows, and I would be watching movies, not to mention TV. So I used to watch maybe 6 hours a day. And I cut that down to maybe an hour.
Shit.
But I can't give it up. I can give it up, but I don't see the point. That's my wind down time, because I'm always on, even when I'm with my family, friend, partner, because I'm always trying to be the best I can be for them. So it's a point of being on for me, And I have a dog. I love my dog. I spend a lot of time with
Taurus.
Yeah. That's why I was a bit late today. My dad hurt his knee and I had to walk the dog. So
that's fine, mate. Yeah. So what are your aspirations for the future? What does the future Shawn Narayan look like?
Looking at probably the next 5 years, I'm going to be working. So I'm going to build my career. And that'll probably be through the statistics field. So I want to try to get into public sector stuff. Private sector, I wouldn't mind, but public sector, I think they respect your time more. And then I will be still doing my USANA business. I'll probably, in the 5th year, if it's gone the way I want it to go, I'll probably start another venture. And then hopefully in 10 years, I won't be employed by anyone but myself. So I'll have my own business. I'll be going that way. And I'll have a family and stuff. And hopefully I'll have a family and stuff in the next, within 10 years. Family is big to me, leaving a legacy. I'm very old-fashioned, I think, in that way. I'm old-fashioned, but my thinking, new fashion.
It's a combination of both,
I'm a combination, yeah. So, I really believe in leaving a legacy and having kids young. So, I hopefully could do that, That's one of my big drivers. It's in this economy, you have to play aggressive. Because you ain't buying a house anytime soon.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
Not just that, I don't think I'll even buy a house. I'll probably start buying investment properties. But what I mean is, you ain't gonna feed your kids, because rent is a lot as well. It's $500 now average.
Yeah. 600.
400 some places. Yeah.
Quite high, yeah.
Yeah, so you gotta be aware of that. So always keep educated, guys. I didn't value that early on, but now it's huge. Education, if you're not staying on top of it, what's going on around you. That's why I did economics and finance. Honestly, I could have dropped it, but it teaches you how to deal with your money. Because, money never sleeps. Money never needs holidays. So once you have enough and you've been smart and saved, you can get your money to work for you. So that's why I did finance. And then economics.
Love that quote.
Yeah. Well, it's not my quote.
I know.
heard it somewhere. Yeah.
Still pretty damn good.
Yeah. And then like I read some weird economics. Sorry, like that's just knowing what's going on. You know, like knowing that there's a recession coming probably in a year, 2 years, 3 years. It's in between that span. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone like I mean, there's been one every 8 years, and it's been 10 years now without one. So it's kind of like it's scary. Everyone's kind of like, damn, what's going on? Like, look at what's happening in the stock market. It's crazy. Like.
Yeah.
They lost the top 10 richest men in the world lost $100 billion accumulated recently. It's come back, I think, a bit, but that's a big. So the signs are there, you know. So once you know the signs, you start watching out for them. But then you know that, hey, a recession isn't a bad thing. It means everything's cheap.
Yes, good point.
Yeah. So if you actually more millionaires are made during a recession than any time else. So that's education. You know, it's huge.
Education. Learn, constantly growing. Yep.
Yeah, constantly grow, man.
That's right.
Self-improvement's huge. Every day you gotta wake up and say, how can I be better? That's what, honestly, it's so cliche, but I saw like Elliot Holst say that because I've been into bodybuilding and stuff for a long time. Elliot Holst was one of my people don't give him credit, but I feel like a lot of our generation did see him say that kind of stuff.
Yes, he did. Yeah, back in the day as well.
And stuff, and I vibe with that stuff. I was like, cool, self-improvement. You know, like, yeah.
Totally that. Hey, Shawn, thank you so much for joining me, man. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for listening. I'll leave Shawn's details in the description below, and I'll talk to you all soon.